on Sunday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. The people of St. Vincent, the Grenadines, and the diaspora of that country traveled by land, air, and sea and packed into Anos Vale to watch the West Indies cricket team. But not even that could buy them a victory. They lost all three matches by three all they lost all three matches quite comfortable, and they have been called by some that the fans should be refunded. It was a week in which West Indies teams played 6 matches and lost 5 of those matches. It was a week in which Cricket West Indies held their quarterly press conference. And it was a week in which our own Dwight Chattu was voted Call of the Year on one of the most popular sports programs in Jamaica. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the #1 cricket channel in the Caribbean. I thank you for being here. I really appreciate your company and look forward to your interaction. I also want to thank the viewers on West Indies Cricket Then and Now for joining us for this collaboration. As usual, this morning, we have Dwight Chattu, the Call of the Year, and Basil Butcher, the son of the legendary West Indies batsman. Good morning, gentlemen, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Carlton. Good morning, Dwight Chatto, the Call of the Year, and to all your viewers around the world. And let me just say this quickly. When I first met Chatto on the chat that you have, I was reliably informed that Chatto is a very popular man in Jamaica because of his daily clashes, if you will, with one Orville Higgins on the radio. And when I was told this, I said, oh, I know who this guy is because I occasionally would tune in to Orville's show. And on one time I had tuned in, and when Chatto called in, the greetings was one, all right, Chatto, let's go.
Morning, Basil. Morning, Carlton. Morning to your listeners. Pleasure being on this morning. You guys are the best.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being here. And I want to wish everyone season's greetings. I know there will be another show before the Christmas for West Indies play again on Tuesday morning. But I want to take this opportunity to wish you all the most wonderful of season greetings, wherever you may be in the world and have tuned into this channel. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to you when it comes.
I would like to echo that too. Season's greetings to all.
Yeah.
Thank
Same
you.
sentiments from me.
Dwight, West Indies lost the one-day international. West Indies women lost the first one-day international against India quite easily this morning. However, there was one outstanding performance from Zaida James, who took 5 for 45 in her 8-over spell. Those last 4 wickets coming in a spell where she bowled the 46th, 48th, and 50th overs. Those 3 overs went for 15 runs, 4 wickets. There could have also been an additional wicket if Canberra had gathered that ball and stumped the batswoman. And there was also 1 run out involved. So during her spell, 5 wickets fell for less than 40 runs. What do you have to say about Zaida James' performance this morning, Basil?
I give kudos. I give kudos to young Zaida for picking up her 5 wickets. 5 wickets is 5 wickets. It's like when we say 100 is 100. I give kudos to her for picking up her 5 wickets, and all the best to her as she continues in her effort. But we will discuss other parts of the game later, so I leave it at that.
Thank you very much. Yes, and I'd just like to say congratulations to her. And I'm sure you want to tell her congratulations to Dwight. It was her first 5-wicket haul in a match. I think it was the first time she ever got more than 2 wickets in a match. The previous occasion, she got 2 for 21 or something like that. And she have never got more than a wicket in a match after that. So congratulations to her, Dwight.
And most definitely. I think it's really fabulous. I hope this speaks to a glimpse of things to come. So I'm really, really happy for her as well.
Thank you very much. Gentlemen, what a week it was. Last week on this show, Dwight, you almost predicted, or you did say that Darren Sammy is out coaching Andre Coley. I put together a list of things that Coley needs to do to keep his job, although I never went as far as you because I never saw it coming. On the other hand, Basil Butcher Jr. put forward a position that the perception that we have of Darren Sammy as this great coach is not the reality. And when West Indies lost the T20 series against Bangladesh, it was the 3rd consecutive T20 series loss for Darren Sammy. Basil Butcher, do you still stick by your position that Darren Sammy is not as good as we are making him out to be? And do you still stick by your position that he should not have been promoted to the all-format coach? And Dwight Chattu, do you still stick by your position that the right decision was taken? Let's start with you, Basil Butcher.
I stick by my position. There is nothing that has changed that would change my mind on that. I have said, and I continue to say, the jury is out on Darren Sammy as an international coach, and it remains as so, right? I will say this. I think Andre Coley got a raw deal, and this is why I say this. Andre Coley does not have the same quality of players at his disposal in the test format, which is the most difficult format in cricket, right? He has a most inexperienced team on which he has had to command. And I will also note, during his tenure as test coach, as the permanent test coach, he has had to play against the best teams in the world. And we are a bottom feeder when it comes to test cricket. So if they got rid of Coley because of purely wins and losses, I would say to the CWI people, they are way off the beaten path, and their analysis is wanting, to say the least, because this guy has been given a deck that is tainted, and what they are expecting from that in that short period of time is what we call in Guyana wanting blood from stone. Now, go on to Mr. Sammy. Just want to make this, as you noted, the T20. That is supposed to be his strongest team, most highly ranked team. And they have not won a series in the last 3 encounters.
Thank you
Take that in mind.
Thank you very much, Basil. Dwight, your reaction to the appointment of Darren Sammy as all-format coach, and react to what Basil said and what you had said last week.
I'm trying to figure out at what point in time will Darren Sammy be given the respect that he deserves? At what point in time will people accept that he has done well since he was parachuted into the position to be the head coach of the white ball team, and respect the work that this man has done? He has always been under question. Now let's reflect. Before Sammy became the white ball coach and Mr. Coley became the red ball coach, if you were to look at the period, say from maybe the end of 2016 right up until when they came in the job, the test cricket team was the best performing international team. It was outperforming the T20 team that was struggling to even get out of the first round, or even to get into the main draw of T20 World Cup. So, and the white ball team was also even struggling even to qualify for the World Cup itself. We saw that the T20 team and the ODI team were struggling teams. The test team was the team that we thought, there is something there. Whoa, we like the bowling with the test team. Man, if the batsmen them just can just get it together. When we saw players like Bonner coming to the fore, and Craig Brathwaite showing some consistency, we thought that we had the makings of a team that could make the turnaround before what we're seeing in the white ball team. Yeah, that was what was happening. Huh? But then here comes Sammy. And suddenly you hear he has better material to work with than Mr. Kohli. Well, why didn't Kohli at least maintain the performance that he had before he came there? Remember, before he came there, that test team was winning around almost 30% of its game. Since he has been there, it's winning 18% of its game. Before he got there, that test team was only losing around 54% of the times. Since he has got there, they're losing around 60-something% of his time. Basil, your memory is failing you, man. Give Sammy the respect that he deserves.
Chateau, you're coming back with that same pedestrian argument about 18% and 30%. Best played. So please go back and check the rankings of the test team. Please go back and check the rankings of the ODI team. Please go back and check the rankings of the T20 team. West Indies teams were all in the doldrums. So don't come and tell me about the test team was doing so and so, right? We won a series against England. He 1-0 in the Caribbean. And we know this. When West Indies play England, regardless of our status, and we play them at home, it has always been a tussle for the most part.
Basil, come on, Basil. Wait. Basil, just stay in the mind.
Let me finish my thought.
No, but Basil, what I want you to show me, we can point to beating England in the Caribbean. I think not once, but twice. We can point to beating Bangladesh over in Bangladesh. We can point to drawing. Wait a minute. We can point to drawing with Pakistan. During that spell, all of that happened before Andre Kohli came. We can point to things.
When did we draw with Pakistan?
I think we drew with a series with Pakistan here where Jaden Fields won the game in Sabina Park and then they lost the second test. Yeah, man. They drew a series with Pakistan 1-1. No, we can remember that from the test team. During that period, since we won the T20 World Cup back in 2016, until now, tell me when was any of the white ball team giving us any joy? I can't remember any series, anything where they were giving us joy. All we remember is them not being able to qualify for the World Cup, them failing to make the main draw of the T20, them going into the main draw of the T20 and getting bounced in the group stage, that thing finishing fifth in their particular group. We have seen disappointment in the T20 team, which you claim is very talented, but we can remember points in time where we thought, man, this test team not bad enough, it's coming on good. When we saw people saying, oh man, this bowling combination of Holder and Gabriel and Roach, man, they're restricting teams to less than 250 runs and all of that stuff. We were saying that. We were not saying that about the white ball team. Stop. Your memory's failing you.
No, my memory's not failing me. My memory's not failing me because all you are talking about there is some individuals and what you claim in the man is. Let us look at the reality. Look at the rankings. The rankings have been pretty much the same across the board, and that's my point. We have been either number 9, number 8, number 9, number 8, number 7 in turn. The T20 has always been higher than the other two, right? The ODI and the test 9 and 8, 9 tests. 10 and so on and so forth. And then to exacerbate the situation, you are telling Kohli to go and perform, his team to perform similarly when most of those players, the batters, whom was playing at the time that you were giving these lovely accolades about the test team performance, batters and even bowlers are not part and parcel of this current setup that we have here. But the ODI team and the T20 team have had the similar players playing all the time. And Test cricket is the hardest format. We have been poor in Test cricket for a long time.
Thank you, gentlemen. We have a guest joining us from Bangladesh shortly. But I want to add this to the screen here, Dwight. And I want you to reflect on this comment from Darren Sammy before the start of the series and reflect on this comment. Here's Darren Sammy saying, the squad was carefully selected with the players available to us. And I believe this is our most secured squad with the experience needed to win championship. Right? So the last part was about Casey Carty, and I don't know why he never played Casey Carty in the series, but that's for another discussion. React to that comment from me, Dwight, in that, yes, Sammy say that this is our most secured squad and with the experience to win championship, yet still we got 3 love.
I think you're gonna hear every time a squad is selected, selectors coming out and making these types of comments.
So we should not believe. No.
Let me continue. And I agree that the squad that we have right now is settled. Note, we didn't have people like I think Hope playing during the series, who I thought should have been opening in this series, and Hussein I think only played 2 games. All right, fine. But here's the thing. I thought that Sammy was hard done, to be honest. I think he was hard done by the guys who scheduled this series. Sammy's mantra in T20 cricket has always been that he's looking for a team that can play strongly during the power plays, a team that can win on the back of boundaries, a team that can hold teams down when they need it in terms of the bowling. But Sammy's not hoping to get games being played on slow surfaces like they played at Anos Vale, where teams are struggling to even put together 150 runs together. See? So I personally thought that he was hard on in terms of the scheduling and where the games were played. If a game was being played in St. Lucia, for example, I'd back Sammy's words to come through. So I just think that he was hard done, more so than he went in there.
So you think it was unfortunate that West Indies scheduled the matches in St. Vincent and the Grenadines?
Yes. All
I heard you laughing there, Basil, but let us welcome Wafi from Bangladesh.
Yes. Welcome, Wafi. Welcome.
Yeah, Wafi, welcome to the show. You are of the opinion that St. Vincent and the Grenadines is more of a home ground for Bangladesh than the West Indies, because you would have played a number of World Cup matches there and the West Indies have not played there in over 10 years. Give us your feedback on the scheduling of the match in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Okay, so Mr. Dwight was saying that it was a bowler's paradise and batsmen couldn't score, but then what about our 189 for 6? We scored 189 runs there. Jakir Ali scored 72 or 56. So that shows that that pitch wasn't that bad. I think West Indies planning was really poor, because against the spinners, they tried to attack early on. And in the process of that, they lost so many wickets that they didn't have batsmen to play against the pacers. So I think that is why they missed out. But I think credit should go to Bangladesh as well for judging the pitch really well. But I think if West Indies could have handled the spinners well, then runs were there to be made as well.
Thank you very much. How you react to that, Basil? How you react to that?
I agree with him 100%. West Indies batters are very poor against quality spin. We saw in the test match when Islam getting help, we were at sea, and we were also very suspect to genuine fast bowling, as we saw in the first inning when the 150 plus man bowled. We were not handling it at all, right? So those things filter from the tests all the way down throughout our batters in all formats of cricket. It
Do
is
I?
it's a
Wait,
system. It's a
wait.
system.
I can't believe you guys are questioning whether or not Anos Vale suits the slow bowlers. We saw that over the course of the World Cup. Teams struggled to score runs on that ground. That 189 is the only score above 160, I think, in maybe around 10 attempts in Anos Vale. It is a slow ground. It's like a home ground for Bangladesh. And I'm a simple guy. I'm a simple guy. I don't have a problem with you throwing in the odd game here and there where the pitch is really slow and thing. But why are we giving 3 home games to Bangladesh playing right here in the Caribbean? They're certainly not going to be putting us on a nice hard deck when we get to Bangladesh. So why are we doing it here?
The people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines would say, though, Bobby, that but they deserve some matches. They have not getting any match from the West Indies for so many years.
I never said 0 matches. I never said 0 matches.
No, Chateau. Pitches in St. Vincent is that much different than Guyana or Trinidad. That is what our players play on all the time. Even in your Jamaica. So I don't know what this complaint about those pitches. We should
Sabina is no Anos Vale.
I don't want to hear about nothing.
Sabina is no Anos Vale. We played South Africa before the World Cup at Sabina Park, and that's no Anos Vale. All I'm saying is, I don't have a problem with us playing on these slow decks every now and again. But 3 matches, no man, come on man, that's too much.
Chateau, what pitches did we see in the first class season at Sabina Park? You call them pitches anything of quality? Huh? They're just like what's in Guyana. When you're playing cricket in the Caribbean these days, including Barbados, everywhere else, it's only when you go to St. Lucia, you know you're getting the pitch got bunks and everywhere else is slow and low or whatever. That is why we have our mediocre spinners dominate our first class cricket year in, year out because of the pitches.
I want to add here.
Complaint. My friend Wafi is on point. Bangladesh made 189, right?
In one of the 3 games.
No. Regardless.
So why weren't other international teams able to make 189 there? Before the series, we all said that the surface would have been challenging. We all concurred on that. We all spoke about this last week about how Anos Vale is. And I said it will be a challenge. I said it would be a challenging series for the West Indies simply because of the difficulty to score there. See? So I don't want us to forget that.
No, but
let's hear what Wafi had to say. Then I come back to you, Basil, and then I make a comment and we'll move on to the next topic.
So I'm gonna tell about 2 matches. One of them is where Bangladesh won the second test. That was in Jamaica, where the bouncy pitches were given and we performed really well. So that's first. And the other thing is that before coming to the West Indies, we had 2-match test series back in home. And one was in Mirpur, where the average score was 100. So both the teams scored 100. Bangladesh scored like 106. South Africa scored 300. So in that turning deck, we lost. In our home pitch, we lost to South Africa. Now, why did we lose to West Indies in West Indian home condition? And West Indies has Akil Hussain, the #1 T20I spinner. But still, I think the planning was wrong for the West Indies. Because let me tell you, Sheikh Mahdi Hassan, he's a good bowler, but he's not one of the best. He's not like Ashwin. He's not like Ravindra Jadeja, or you can name any. So I think Bangladesh had a proper planning against the West Indians. And whatever the pitch is, the pitch can never be a reason for a loss. You're playing international cricket for such a long time. There's no way you're going to blame a pitch. There's no way. As a proper batsman, you got to play. And these West Indian players, they've played so much. They've played in Indian Premier League. They've played in Sri Lanka Premier League. They've played in Bangladesh Premier League. They know how to. Nicholas Puran, Johnson Charles, Andre Fletcher, Brandon King. All these players are regular in franchisee league. And all these players have even played in Bangladesh. And there's no way. And I think 189, whatever the pitch is, if you score 189, that means there is something in the pitch. Okay, even if the pitch is hard, that doesn't mean West Indies will get bowled out for 110. They need to score at least 150. If you're losing a T20 match by 80 runs, that's hilarious. That's not proper cricket. Even like Zimbabwe or any team can score that. If we see a Bangladesh Netherlands match, Bangladesh Nepal match, even they didn't lose that bad. A home team losing that bad, that's questionable. That's a
Thank you.
question to the whole system. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Basil, you had a comment to make?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna say something similar to what Wafi said. I mean, all of these guys play all about the subcontinent in these franchise tournaments, and Chato now giving them the out because he want to bolster his man Sammy. Just admit, Chato, that it was a poorly prepared team and they performed poorly. And these kudos are given to Sammy. The jury is out on him. The jury is out on him.
Basil, please speak up here because I will go Basil, Dwight, and Wafi. I have a poll in the live chat. 74% of the respondents said that Phil Simmons schooled Darren Sammy in this series. That although West Indies win the ODI series 3-0 and Bangladesh won the T20 series 3-0, Bangladesh were the winner, and that Phil Simmons schooled Darren Sammy. Start with you, Basil. What are your thoughts?
I would agree with that narrative. Here why I would agree with that narrative. Firstly, this is the first time a Bangladesh test team have come to the Caribbean and beat a full-strength West Indies team. They've never done that before, right? That's number one.
No, but just a minute. But Darren Sammy is not the coach for the test team. So
no. I know that. I'm just adding up where Phil's kudos goes. And then to lose the ODI 3-0, and that team to show it now to bounce back with the resiliency to come back and beat a team that is higher ranked than them in their backyard, you have to give the kudos to Phil Simmons. In my view, it's cheese to chalk in terms of the two of them as a coach. It's cheese to chalk. There is no comparison. I think it's a disrespect to Phil Simmons to be calling Sammy in the same breath with him when it comes to coaching. That's all I have to say.
Dwight?
I don't agree. I don't think it was a matter that he was outschooled by Phil Simmons. Definitely don't think so. I think the series definitely we batted poorly in the series, but we're batting poorly against the types of bowling that we generally bat poorly against, which is spin bowling. And I think the overall results ended up being lopsided because all the games were played on the slow surface in St. Vincent, where we weren't faring very well against the opposition. I think by the time we went into the third game, there might have been a certain bit of mental turnoff by the players where they weren't 100% in the series, having lost the series 2-0 already. But I think definitely for the first two tests, for the first two games, the issue had more to do with the fact that they were playing in Anos Vale and that it was showing up a certain weakness, that it was amplifying a certain weakness that they have to spin bowling, which we all accept, as opposed to the sort of thing where Darren Sammy is not all that and Phil Simmons was out coaching him. I don't agree with you guys.
Yeah. Dwight, you said something there, and I'm coming to you, Wafi, that it would be greatly disturbing for me if that's how it goes. You said that by the time of the third match come around, the players were not actually into it anymore, having lost the series. If that is true, Dwight, and I know you're just assuming, but if that is true, that would be greatly disturbing when the St. Vincent and the Grenadines people from all walk of life, people from England, from the United States, from Canada, who are diaspora of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines, knowing that a series was playing, spent their money, take airplane, book hotel rooms just to go home for this series. And you are of the perception that the West Indies cricket team didn't turn up on Thursday? That would be very embarrassing, Dwight. You really think that happened, Dwight?
I think that probably happening one or two players. I don't want to jump and take away everything from Bangladesh. Bangladesh, Jaka Ali, I've said already, that guy is a very good batsman. We saw it in the Test series. That guy is a very, very good batsman. I'd be surprised if he doesn't go on to have a fairly established career. And I thought that they got away. They got away from us in terms of in terms of what happened. They established a very good score. They put our team under pressure, and it happens. Some of the times you'll have one-day games which are like that, where the other team just plays very well, just bats very well. And I thought that innings, I think it was something like 72 or something like that, that he scored from maybe around half
No,
the
but
number.
we understand that
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of the way.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
I was really
But
asking,
I do believe, but I do accept. I don't think it was wholesale across the team. I do accept as well, and I do think as well that there might have been a bit of a mental, not playing your A game today, having coming towards the very end of the series. I think we heard the captain alluding to that he thought that there was a need for the team to reset. There could have been a mental exhaustion in terms of how much cricket they have played for the year, coming to the very end, playing your last game and just not being at your very peak. But I don't want to accuse the entire team of just being like that. But I thought that there could have been one or two players that just sort of just wanted to just sort of just get through the game.
all right, Wafi, give you a minute. Go ahead.
I think the planning was throughout really good. Even though we lost the ODI series, I think the planning for ODI series was fine as well. And again, coming to the pitch thing, the Jamaica test shows that how good we are even in bouncy pitches. And I mean, we have got 150 plus bowlers. We have got Taskin, we have got Tanzim Sakib. We have got a wide range of bowlers. And I think Bangladesh is one of the best bowling attacks right now. You give them any pitches, they're going to bowl. It was always problem with our batsmen, and the batsmen planned beautifully. They handled the spinners well. They took on the loose deliveries. They took their time and then they scored. So overall, the planning was brilliant for Bangladesh.
Do
And
you
West Indies
really
again.
believe that for the ODI series that the planning was that great and your bowlers was that great in the ODI series? This is something you really believe?
Yes. Let me tell you this. Okay. For the ODI series one, I think because we were missing some key players, and one more thing, we didn't have a sixth bowler. We didn't have a sixth bowler, and ODI you can't just play with five bowlers. ODI you need a sixth bowler, and we didn't have that. That is why we lost. But I still believe you put a match between Bangladesh and West Indies anywhere, any Champions Trophy anywhere, Bangladesh is going to beat West Indies. I still
Let me,
believe
remind, let,
Bangladesh.
me, let me remind you of the scores that the West Indies scored in the ODI series. All right, they scored 225 for 6 in the third ODI. They scored 230 for 3 in around 35 overs or 36 overs in the second one.
Yeah.
In the first one, they just ran out and just breezed through 295 runs. And you thought that the planning and how Bangladesh played in the one-day series, you cannot have it both ways, Rafi.
No. It's always results won't come. Always there will be one bad series, but that doesn't make our team bad at ODIs. I still firmly believe you got to see the Champions Trophy, then you will see. But it's a young group. This Bangladesh team is a young group. You have to give them time. That West Indies group was very experienced. Sherfin Rutherford has been on a brilliant form throughout
He didn't
the
play.
series. And the ODI, I'm talking
Rutherford
about
didn't play
ODI.
in the T20.
Coming
Yeah.
back to you now, let's take some of the comments from in the chat here. So Brian H is saying neither was better. Good morning to you, Brian H. All right, fair enough. Gerard Mead is saying that apparently Sammy and company wanted to give the Vincentians a treat by playing Windward Islands players Charles and Fletcher plus the homeboy McCoy. However, it all ended in an embarrassing defeat. And he continues by saying, Django, Carty, and Greaves should have been in the team and changes should have been made after the first loss. Bangladesh had the license to trill in the last game because they had nothing to lose. The series was already won. So those comments are coming in from Gerard Mead, a legend of this community. Our bowlers generally did the best they could operating and batting paradise pitches. They didn't attack the stumps nor the body edge. Dwight, what's your reaction to those comments from Gerard Mead?
You know, there's a particular comment that was made about the players who they use. And I'm not going to get into the politics of it. But I really thought that the one thing I agree that really disappointed me with Sammy was that the fact that he didn't try some of the newer guys. I expected Carty to have featured in the series. I thought that Springer would have gotten a look in. I was so disappointed with the play of Obed McCoy. I really thought that he would have been further along. This is a player that I have a lot of hope for and a lot of expectation of. And I'm not lying, I have concerns now in terms of Paran and King, in terms of what we're seeing. They need to definitely put in a lot more work. So there is something to be said about the selection. I honestly didn't expect Fletcher to feature as he did. I thought I would have seen a player like Carter being given an opportunity to play in the series.
Basil, the champion is saying, in my opinion, the West Indies team wasn't playing for the crowd, but playing for their pockets, thinking Bangladesh was easy. Do you get that impression?
No, not at all. I think that's a disrespect to Bangladesh. Please give Bangladesh credit for coming in and destroying the West Indies, right?
Okay.
Let's be clear. We were outplayed totally in this series.
And Paul Goodman is agreeing with you.
Yes, because we are. What has the West Indies top brass been bragging about? Oh, we have gone up the rankings, number 3, number this, and so on. And Bangladesh come in and brought back reality to us. That rankings got a lot of smoke and mirrors.
I don't agree with Wafi, though, that Bangladesh can beat us anywhere, anytime. A full-strength West Indies team. Wafi
have been beating us like a drum in ODI cricket.
Yeah. Yeah, in ODI, I still believe. I still firmly believe.
No chat. I mean, you remember the World Cup in England?
Yeah. I know before the start of the series that it was a level of. But yeah, I don't think
12 games in a row they had beaten us before the series start. Yeah.
Let me mention 4 players that didn't play: Saqib Al Hasan, Nazmul Hasan Shanto, Mustafizur Rahman, Tawhid Rida. And that is why ODI cricket you need experience. T20, yes, the young guns can do it. And the young guns are doing it. But ODI cricket is different. ODI cricket is totally different. And that is the reason we lost. Every time, even the last time we came here, we defeated West Indies 3-0. In ODI World Cup, we defeated West Indies. So I still firmly believe Bangladesh was the West Indies full strength team. Anywhere in the world, Bangladesh can still beat West Indies. But you give the T20 team, I'm not sure about that. Even after beating 3-0, I'm telling you this, West Indies can still beat us anywhere in the world. But in ODI, we are better than West Indies. Now, one more thing. Is West Indies playing the Champions Trophy?
No.
No, we all know that. We all know that, Wafi. That was a cheap shot fired across the bow. The white Paul Goodman is saying, unfortunately, Alzara Joseph, who is popular on your program. Well, if Alzara Joseph is popular on the program, it's because the community makes Alzara popular, and we respect the wishes of the community at all times. Was shown up, in my opinion, as an unwise bowler, not lacking skills, but lacking in wisdom. Reds Pereira this week said that Alzara Joseph should not have been playing in the series, but these are not his word, but if you read the document, he was saying he needs psychological help, and he should be getting those help instead of playing in the series. So react to Paul Goodman and react to Reds Pereira for me at the same time.
Listen, I don't understand how suddenly Alzara Joseph needs psychological help. Come on, man. What y'all doing? Y'all going too far. Y'all literally going too far. Alzara Joseph made a mistake. But I don't know why I feel like I don't know if it's a Caribbean thing, where we think that the thing to do is to tear down a player. He's a man that we have seen improvement in his bowling. Alzara Joseph a few years ago was bowling at 36. He has brought that down to 33. He has improved as a bowler. Okay? We have seen him being brought into the leadership circle within the West Indies cricket team, and we have seen improvement in his game. Yes, He's still not a finished product. And he needs someone to mentor him through and things. But I've said already, based on what I see happening in the test team with a brother called Brathwaite and a brother called De Silva looking like they're sleeping through their place in the team in terms of batting and in terms of leadership, I think Zara Joseph should be given that key to the city. And as some of these comments that Zara, I think he's just aimed at keeping their prize possession, create Brathwaite for another series and maybe another series, and for, to have us continue to underperform. That being said, I agree that especially in this this last T20 series, Joseph didn't bowl as well as he should have. You know, I agree with that. All right, but Joseph is a quality player that we should look to encourage and develop.
Not answer this one very quickly from a Dwight Chatwan, because it is aimed at you. As a coach, you have to you have plans for all situation, Chatu. That match was scheduled 6 months ago, and everybody already know the condition, Chatu.
Listen, I'm not gonna give Darren Sammy a free pass going in on that series. All right. And I agree that a lot more was expected of us. But I think the 3-0 loss to Bangladesh in T20 is lopsided given the conditions. Whether you want to say, oh, we knew in advance that we were playing Bangladesh on this surface that is generally a low scoring surface. You don't get a lot of high scoring runs, high scoring games in Anos Vale. You cannot snap your fingers and turn players who are not strong at playing spin bowling into those who are. That is something that's going to happen over a longer term. All right, we all know where we are when it comes down to playing spin bowling here in the Caribbean. All right, and so far, Sammy has been able to plan around that and has gotten positive results despite that. We all sat down, saw the West Indies to play in the World Cup.
Last 3 T20 series, do I?
Yes. Where did he lose them? He lost them in Sri Lanka. All right. And remember, even in the Sri Lanka series when he lost it, the first game they played it on a fairly good surface, and we won that game. And what did they do? What did the administrators and the groundsmen do? They went to their home friendly conditions.
But having that experience, the pitches in St. Vincent should have been made home friendly for the West Indies team. Nonetheless,
that's what I think. That's what I believe. That's what I believe. So throwing West Indies out there to have us play on these slow surfaces, having us lose 3-0, then turn around and complaining that, oh, we want us to play better against spin. That's not going to happen immediately in the short term. Okay? And that is not how I think we should be setting pitches for home series matches. We're not going to get those pitches when we run off and play in some other countries. Certainly not when we go to Sri Lanka.
No, I agree that we shouldn't be setting pitches for home series matches. But I also think that we cannot go so far to the left that our players are getting pitches that they are not comfortable on. We see what is happening to India and Australia because of India setting wrong turners. However, we move on to our next comment here, and this one is for you, Basil. And it's speaking about, I know the wide position on this. It's speaking about Bonner and Brathwaite averages, that Bonner is 38, Brathwaite is 30, but yet still Bonner was dropped. How do you address that, Basil?
No, I think the person's question is not in proper context by just simply looking at the average. If you looked at Bonner when he was finally dropped, Bonner looked out of sorts. Bonner looked like he didn't belong in Test cricket. Bonner looked very skittish when he went to bat as soon as a guy bowled a short ball at him. And for those reasons is why Bonner was dropped, not because. And then it continued. Bonner played for Jamaica in the first class season and couldn't get a score. That eventually even Jamaica dropped him out of the team. So talking about bringing him back when he's struggling to make a Jamaica team is not the way to go. And I would like to just say something quickly, Carlton, because Chateau has been carrying this narrative about records and so on. So I did a little research for Chateau. The last time when he came at me I did not have my records at hand, and he got away with his narrative. And I would like to go back from 2021 in the 3 formats West Indies records. In 2021, our test record was 3-5 and 2 draws. The ODI was 4-5, and the T20 was 9-13. In 2022, we were 3-2 and 2 in tests, 5-16 in ODI, 8-15 in T20. In 2023, we're 1-3 and 2 in tests, 10-7 in ODIs, and 8-5 in T20s. In 2024, we were 2-6 and 1 in tests, 6-6 in ODIs, and 14-12 in T20. So what is this magnificent job Mr. Sammy has done, Chatto? We are still the same. We are still the same team. Record wise.
You lost me there in all the numbers that you're calling. This is what I know.
Come on, Dwight. He didn't last you there, man.
No. Listen. I mean, when he's like saying 1 and 2 and so, it's very difficult for me to keep track.
No, win, draw,
What I know is this. Before Sammy came, I think a year or so before Sammy came, the West Indies had a win-loss ratio in ODI cricket of around 0.34.
No.
So all the people are interested.
The record
yeah. Today, they have won more matches than they have lost. I think it's a win-loss ratio of 1 point.
No.
What do you mean, no?
6-6. The ODI record is 6 and
I said since.
No.
What do you mean, no?
Kohli and Sammy have been in the job from 2023 May month last year to now, right?
So you're saying that since Sammy has been in the job, he has won more ODIs than he has lost?
No, he has not. He has lost more ODI than he has won.
Yes,
No. He has won 15 and lost 13.
Sammy,
he has a win-loss ratio of greater than 1. They have won, I think, 15 of 28. All right? But contrast that to when he had a win-loss ratio of around 0.34 or something like that. I think if you should work the maths out, that works out to maybe around 25%.
No,
Dwight, I want to add context to that win-loss ratio. How many of those matches were against associate teams? I clearly remember we beat in the UAE, I think, 3-love.
Yes, and that's in there. That's in here. That's in the 2020, the 2023.
So how many of those wins were against associate teams, Dwight?
No, let me ask you a question. What should Sammy do? Should Sammy not play the games? Should Sammy? No, wait, guys. By the way, y'all have forgot that Sammy played England. Sammy played England around 6 times and has won 4 of those 6 matches over that stretch. But I'm curious whether or not if Sammy should just simply not play the games. You play the games.
Let me make my position clear, because this is a position that I've made clear again, and I'm unequivocal in it. I do not think that Sammy is a big coach. No, I don't think that Sammy is a big coach. I would not have employed Sammy last year to coach the West Indies cricket team. However, I am firmly of the position that the president should get the man that he wants. I am not the president. Dr. Shallow is the president, and Dr. Shallow wants Sammy to be the head coach. So I believe that he should get the man that he has confidence in, right? So I want to make that very clear. I do not have an issue, since Dr. Shallow wants Sammy, and he's the president, and I believe that the president should get the man that he wants. I do not have an issue with Sammy being the all-format coach. However, just like the big three, India, Australia, and England, who have said to their head coaches, you do not have the final say and selection. That is where my issue lies with Sammy being the all-format coach. He should not have the final say and selection, having been the head coach for all 3 teams. then some of that responsibility of picking the team should be given to someone else. That's where I stand on him. And I wish him all the best, because if the West Indies team start winning, then I will be a very, very happy man. And I'm sure all of you will be a very, very happy man. All right, so Dane is saying, it was amazing that Cricket West Indies flew Fletcher back from Sri Lanka just to play in the series. Is he that vital that they saw it fit to spend that money and they had Ambrice and Django available? But Basil, and then I come to Wafi, because Dwight had a few response earlier. So I'll come to Basil and then Wafi. Should we have flew back Fletcher from Sri Lanka and not considered someone like Django or Ambrice, or even the fact that Casey Carty was named in the squad before Fletcher? So why Fletcher came into the squad and then go ahead and play ahead of Casey Carty?
No, let's first. I'll answer this question in full context, because they would have had to pick this team ahead of time, and the logistics and so on was already in play, even probably before Django made that 100, right? And that is the only reason why, in defense of Mr. Sammy and company, I know they would have had to make those logistics, right? And that is the only reason, because I will say this, even Sammy would not be that stupid to fly Fletcher from Sri Lanka, and they have to spend that money, if they have to spend the money to fly him back to the Caribbean, knowing you have a guy who can wicket keep, just make 100 in an ODI game, and a commanding 100 at that. To, and he's a young guy, that is a guy that you would be thinking about going forward, whereas Fletcher's expiration date is over, right? So in that context, to Dane, I think that is what happened, right? So let us not beat Mr. Sammy over the head, because those logistics have to be worked out ahead of time.
But Basil, reminding you that initially it was Evan Lewis in the squad. So Fletcher was really a replacement player for Evan Lewis. So that logistic could not have been made. However, maybe is it that the Lanka Premier League was finished? Was it?
No, he only played one game and he left.
So that means Cricket West Indies flew him home then?
Yeah, I don't know if they flew him home or the Lanka people. I don't know about those things. But because I heard about this. So I went and I checked to see if indeed he was in Sri Lanka, and I saw that he played one game, right? So, but with him playing that one game and coming back, I am saying I don't think he was a last-minute pick. You see?
Thank you. But it's hard for me to conceptualize Carty being originally named in the squad. And remember, even if Pooran cannot keep, Jansen Charles can keep. So it's hard for me to conceptualize Carty first name in the squad and then Fletcher go ahead of him.
No, if you remember, Carlton, Jansen Charles is coming off on the injury. That's why we hadn't seen him recent after the I think it's CPL or something like that, right? And apparently Pooran, well, this wouldn't be considered in terms of Fletcher. But the reason why Fletcher kept in that first game, Pooran was unwell. He wasn't feeling so well. So they decided to put him on the outfield, which I find very interesting, because you have to do more running in the outfield if you're not feeling well than you're behind the stumps, right? So that's what they said. And a second game played and Pooran still was outside, and then he took the gloves for the third game. But Carlton, I think, you see, these are the things that this viewer is raising, is where one of my biggest sore points of this West Indies cricket and their media relations, because a person should not even have to be speculating about this. This is something that should be readily told to the public, so we don't have to be like, what's the conspiracy theory as to why Fletcher coming? Oh, because he come from Windward Islands, that's why they pick up Windward Islands man, and all of those things. If they would be straightforward with the basic facts and stories, thus carrying people. Because we in the Caribbean love to run with the rumors.
Thank you. Why, if I saw you bowing your head there, let's hear your comment. Wafi?
I think West Indies fans are right now frustrated. That's it. I think all of these are like right now. See, selection, pitch, coach. For me, these are all just excuses right now because you have got a set of players, and all these players are proven. There's no Andre Fletcher. You can't just keep him out of the T20 squad and bring in Sunil Amriz or Amir Jango. I mean, their international cricket is totally different, and Andre Fletcher has that experience. I think what West Indies cricket should really question is why was Sharfan Rutherford not playing? Why was he in Australia instead of the Caribbean? Why Akil Hussain left after the second game? These are the questions that should be asked. Why was Shea Hope in the BBL instead of
Of
instead
course.
of Yes, I think even when I was doing the live watch along, I was being asked about West Indies commitment, and that is the main thing West Indies need to ask. You want to represent franchisee league, or you want to play for your home team? You want to represent your country? That's what West Indies should ask. Really, it's not about the coach. It's not about the selection. It's not about the pitch. These are all excuses. These are all excuses to lose a game.
Wafi,
These are your players. Yeah.
Wafi, we actually are asking those questions. All of us are frustrated because we see those players go off to Australia, right?
Yeah.
And other
Yeah.
countries, they would have to play out their international series and then they would
Yeah.
head to the franchise.
Yeah.
But it's the flip
Exactly.
side with West Indies cricketers.
Because there are a
Yeah.
number of players in that Bangladeshi team who have BBL contract and will be heading off. Dwight, Kirkamute is saying, the Cricket Forum and co-hosts, we need to stop making excuses as exactly for these players. They cannot what these
Players
players. I don't understand. I don't.
they cannot play spin or real fast bowling. It's the players' fault and the selectors are picking certain players.
And he go on to say that why Allen, Cornwall, and Myers not in the T20 squad. So how do you respond to those two comments, Dwight?
Man, should we really spend time on the second one in terms of
Okay, all right. No,
Cornwall?
go ahead with the first one.
let, let, let me say this. Listen, I don't want anybody for any minute to think that I'm trying to make excuses for the players or make excuses for poor batting or players who are not developing beyond a certain point. All right. The question that I answered this morning was asked specifically about Darren Sammy and what we have seen from Darren Sammy so far in terms of what he has done with the white ball team and what he has done with the T20 team is that he has improved those teams. So pick all the surfaces that they play on, they generally win games. All right? And the whole issue of their susceptibility to spin bowling doesn't come to the fore as much. No, he was given a challenge that he was unable to overcome. He was sent to Sri Lanka, he wasn't able to overcome that, where he was exposed by the spin bowling. He came here as well, they sent him down to Anos Vale, he got exposed. We are going to see going forward whether or not this is the obstacle that Darren Sammy is unable to hurdle, because for him to go on and to win the T20 World Cup, he will have to overcome this hurdle. There's absolutely no doubt. He will have to be able to win critical games in spin-friendly condition. And that will be the test. And we have all said here that Darren Sammy's the success of his term will be decided on whether or not he can win the World Cups. And that's my answer to that. I'm not giving him a pass. I'm saying the man has done well so far. Let's give him credit for that. I'm saying this is now the new mountain that he has to overcome. But let's not overreact and be overly aggressive against Sammy.
Basil, do West Indies white ball players have too much power?
I think what has happened with West Indies cricket is West Indies board is between a rock and a hard place. Because historically, as those who know about the history of West Indies cricket and the relationship of players and the West Indies cricket board has always been a cantankerous relationship, right? And that situation never changed. and now that players have these options since the Skerrett regime came into play, they decided, look, we're gonna bend over backwards for the players, right? And I think in this bending over backwards, I think they've bent over a little too far, in my view. Once, in my view, once West Indies, unless you're gonna have to have a situation where you're gonna be sitting down, you have to have a concrete thing with these players where year in, year out, we have to sit down. You're gonna have to make a decision as to how many games, tournaments you're playing, and if West Indies is playing, what you're gonna do. Because we cannot be marching in time, holding and waiting for you, right? And they're gonna come a time. You see Pakistan have a thing where their players are allowed to choose 2 tournaments a year outside the PSL. Something will have to give, because this thing when Rutherford and them went off to Australia and we playing in the Caribbean, that left a bitter taste in my mouth. Last year, Puran playing a final in America, in the American Major League Cricket, and West Indies playing India in the Caribbean. That again left a bitter taste in my mouth. And that's when I realized that Puran is done playing. It seems he's done with the ODIs, because that was the start of where he quit with the ODIs, because we had just come back from the World Cup qualifiers. And our first ODI series, he's in America playing a final in ODI, in T20 cricket, and we playing ODIs in the Caribbean.
We all know where Dwight stand on this, and we hear,
yes,
we heard Waffy view that they should be there. What I think is that Cricket West Indies have lost so many court cases against the players that it is almost, they're almost timid like, afraid like to stand up to the players. But I think somebody need to stand up to the players. Don't issue any NOC. If you want to take them to court, take them to court. Let's just test it in the court again.
Correct.
I will be willing to test it in the court, because there is the perception by some that once the player don't have a central contract, CWI has to sign the NOC. Not true. And if that is so, I am going to test it in the court. Let the court say yes, they have to sign the NOC. And then I will know how to operate from
Correct.
there. We want to move on, because we are here now quite a while. Now, Dwight said something earlier where my term is that he believes that some players don't tools. Well, I have mentioned that I saw something like that at Savannah Park.
Mm-hmm.
A number of persons, when we were doing the
Carlton, explain to the audience, because a lot of the audience would not know what you mean by down tools.
the tools that the players have is their skill to play cricket.
Correct.
And so when I said that the down tool is that they are not giving off their best. They are more
right.
in a holding pattern.
Correct.
You know, they are more in the holding pattern than really
they're going
beyond the cause.
They're going through the motion.
Yeah, they're just going through the motion.
Yes.
Now, if what do I perceive, because I never saw this on the TV. I saw it at Savannah Park. I never saw it in St. Vincent and the Grenadine. But knowing that I saw it at Savannah Park, and then Dwight got that perception, it could be something there now. But a large number of persons were saying that the spectators should be refunded some of their money because of the poor performance. A large number. I don't agree with it, but I want to start with you, Basil, and then I go to Wafi, and then I go to Shatu on this. What are your thoughts on that, gentlemen? Starting with you, Basil.
No, I don't think that would happen. I don't think that's a feasible thing. All of us have been to performances, whether it's a concert or a game, and it has not lived up to what we were expecting. That don't mean you get back your money, right? But I understand the sentiment that, you know, the Vincentians came out in numbers that is not the norm you see for international cricket, generally in the Caribbean, and they were disappointed with the poor display by the West Indies team in all three of the matches. So I feel bad for the Vincentians on that count, but refunding the money, no, not at all.
Thank you. Wafi, your comment on it?
I mean, there's no way you can expect refund. You were there to enjoy the cricket, and there is always 50-50 chance. Either you win or you lose. And you know that. And even after knowing that, you go and watch it. I mean, India lost to Australia in front of what? Like such a huge crowd. Now, all these people, would they want a refund just because India lost the World Cup? No, no way. But yeah, I think St. Vincent should make Bangladesh the home team, and then they can enjoy cricket.
Okay. Dwight, your comment on this?
I'm sure the Bangladeshi fans who went to that game will not want a refund. I'm sure they'll not want a refund.
Exactly.
They're quite happy to be there. Listen, I don't think that all the players down tools. As I said, I just thought that the last game of the season, and we also heard the captain coming out at the end saying that he just think that they need a reset. I think a couple of guys might have been tired, but I think the bigger issue is that they just batted really well. And I've pointed to that guy, Shaka Ali. They just batted really well. Before they know it, they were out of the game. And then they're on the scoreboard pressure to try to meet it up, and it just didn't happen. But no, not a refund. That's too harsh.
The question,
I know the Tiger, Carlton, the Tiger suit man would not want a refund.
Yes, and so Joseph is saying, good day, guys. My question is that does Indian players miss important games because of the IPL? Well, I don't really think he means IPL because it would be the Indian tournament. But the general point he's making is what we have all been saying, that these players, they don't miss international cricket because of franchise commitment. It appears at this time it's on the we and South Africa. Is it so?
Yes, us and South Africa.
Yes.
Because even Bangladesh players have been threatened by the IPL people about picking Bangladesh players for IPL teams because the last IPL, Bangladesh players had to leave because they had to go to England, and the team was upset with them that they had to miss matches, right? For international.
No, last time they couldn't play because they had series against Zimbabwe.
Right, and the year before it was when they went to England or something like that.
Yeah.
Players missed games because they went to India. So, but let me ask you, Wafi, because in your country, do your players have a players association?
Yes, they do.
Okay, and how is it? Tell me, because we need to understand this, because Dwight is correct in asking. And not the white, Carlton is correct that we need to test this thing in the court. Because how is it that Bangladesh board can wield such a big stick and tell Bangladesh players, you ain't going to play no franchise cricket when Bangladesh is playing, and everybody line up? There is no disagreement. But why is it so in our region? So I'm with you, Carlton, 100%. This needs to be tested in the court of law.
Yeah, so Wafi, it's clear what happened in Bangladesh. You would have said it already that really and truly they have to come for the national team.
Yeah.
And before now, you had a dictator as the president of the cricket board who he picked the playing 11. He fire coaches anytime, even in the middle of a match. He changes captain anytime. He was a real dictator, Wafi.
Mate, the last coach we had, he even slapped one player. He was cruel.
You never heard of the Bangladesh Cricket Board president yet?
Yeah, man.
He's a law unto himself. Absolutely law unto himself.
But listen, Carlton, yes. We've been talking about this thing for so long, and I'm trying to figure out when will the board figure out that the tide has turned. I know they got burnt in the past. They were the first ones. I said it straight up. Dave Cameron and company were the first ones who recognized the danger that that T20 cricket had on the viability of your international sports team. And they tried to warn the other guys. And everybody, oh, forget about it, man. It's not affecting us and thing. Now today, we see even England is now telling us, no, 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 no. You need to be here to play our domestic cricket season. Even England is now feeling the pinch and looking around and they're scared of this thing. Everybody has taken steps. India took steps years ago when he told their players, you're only playing IPL. And when we want you, you're going to play here. When we want you to play Ranji, you're going to play here. Bangladesh has taken steps. Pakistan has taken, everybody taking steps. Countries like Australia has gone the way of having an MOU. And here in the Caribbean, we are playing politics. Yeah, it was a nice strategic move back in the past. That thing there didn't say, hey, we want the players to come back in, so we're gonna roll out the red carpet and thing. But now is the time that we need to go back and review this thing right now. I mean, I have given my thing. You say go back and you, Carlton, you're saying go back and look at this restraint of trade thing. I said don't go that far. Just tell them that from the point that you're going to participate in regional cricket, you're going to sign a 5-year contract so that when I pick you over those 5 years, you're going to come and play for me. Simple.
Okay. Yes, you have made that point. I also believe in testing it in the court. Wafi, this question is for you. It's from JMT Border, and he's saying, why do Bangladeshi and other Asian players kneel when they are taking a drink? I observe most of them doing it. What's the reason?
It's part of our religion. Since we're Muslims, we do it. I don't know the main significance of it, but it's part of our religion.
Okay, thank you very much. So it's more cultural.
Religious.
Religious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, at the West Indies press conference on Monday, a number of things were announced. The sponsorship with Caribbean Cage, what we are discussing about Darren Sammy being the all-format coach. But then there was a question that was asked to Darren Sammy. If you listen to the reporter here asking the question was asked to Darren Sammy. After Darren Sammy finished answering the question, Dr. Shallow will then, as the president of Cricket West Indies, and is right to do so, decide to add his comment to the answer. Please listen, gentlemen, to the question, and then Dr. Shallow reply.
Is to the head coach, Darren Sammy. First of all, congratulations again. Prime Minister St. Vincent, Gonzalez, he put into question the leadership of the president and Dr. Shallow. He even said, if you look at the performances of the teams, they are below par in T20. They invest so much money, it's terrible, and it doesn't matter what gloss you put on it. You have to look at the results. What are your thoughts on, harsh comments like these?
Right, and for that simple reason, I am not, at this point or no time in the future, going to mix cricket and politics. Right, and I want that to be extremely clear. If the esteemed Prime Minister wishes to do so, then by all means, he's free to say whatever he likes. And of course, the public will be the judge and determine if it has merit or not. I mean, if I were to be very frank on this matter, I would say that it is unfortunate that I believe it is a miscalculation, because you're not only attacking one individual. And from the very inception of my leadership, I've said that this is not about Kishore Shallow. This is about the entire region. I've worked tremendously hard to ensure that all our stakeholders come together, including CARICOM and the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on Cricket. So any attack, right, it is not on any individual. It is on all the stakeholders, including the hard-working staff, whether it is Darren and Andre, Miles.
Basil, I want you to comment first. What is happening there, Basil?
I think what the president did use cricket vernacular, he looked to glance that one off the pads, right? What we're seeing here, because if you had read in the media, when the president of the board, Dr. Shallow, announced regarding running for as a candidate in the opposition party in the next general elections in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, shortly thereafter, Prime Minister Gonzalez launched his attack. And in his attack, he stated, Gonzalez that is, that he had made calls on the behalf of Dr. Shallow's candidacy to his fellow prime ministers in the region to secure his presidency of the West Indies board. So in essence, Gonzalez is saying this guy has betrayed me. So that is the context one has to really understand this vitriol that Gonzalez is leveling at Shallow. But to me, when I read that report from Gonzalez, it was telling to me that Gonzalez, as we would say in Guyana, look how story jump out of mouth. In terms of we are hearing the real facts of the politics in Cricket West Indies electioneering, that it goes all the way to the level of prime ministers getting involved in the election of CWI. That's why I will say this in closing. One of the things that has to be taken out in terms of the governance of Cricket West Indies is the election of president and vice president. That electioneering has to be thrown in the garbage, and a chairman and vice chairman, if you want to call it that, would be appointed based on qualifications and need and so on. Because I think one of the things that electioneering does, it heightens whatever insularity that is already there. It causes it more to get to a toxic situation that we're seeing playing out in the public right now with the situation with the Barbados Cricket Association and the Guyana Cricket Board on one side in terms of this governance issue. And I think there's a lot of narratives being thrown around, confusing the public as to really what the stance is. Because Shallow, in that same press conference, answering to Andrew Mason, when Mason said to him, asked him, if you remember, did Barbados not send in their position? And Barbados said it got no response. He's saying, yes, Barbados did get a response because it went to the subcommittee and was rejected there and rejected in the board meeting. So who is telling the truth? I was confused further when I heard Shallow's answer.
Dwight, is the battle line clearly drawn between the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and his protege, Dr. Shallow, the president of Cricket West Indies? And Dr. Shallow said that he will not mix cricket and politics. Does it mean, as the candidate for his party, the party that he's representing in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, has he already mixed both?
Listen, this whole thing with Shallow and Gonzalez is quite unfortunate. We already know that we have issues here in the Caribbean. We have issues to do with the skills set that we see with our players. We have issues to do with fan participation and fan involvement. We have issues to do with enough funding that we need to put in the cricket. I mean, not having adequate funding. To now bring politics, because this is what it is. To now have politics playing such a prominent role in what is happening in West Indies cricket is quite unfortunate. Quite unfortunate. Everybody know the history of this thing. Shallow was invited to be a candidate running under Gonzalez's party. He refused. He declined. He instead went and joined the opposition party. He ended up going on a show and making a comment that St. Vincent is 30 years behind St. Lucia and other countries within the Leeward Islands. And Gonzalez has been on the attack. Gonzalez can say, listen, it's my right. This is a political foe, so it's fair game for me to make all these comments. But these comments are now threatening West Indies cricket. It's no one more thing. It's no distraction. And like what Basler said and Carlton has said, it's now coming into a place where it's now influencing who the president is and who has a part to play in West Indies cricket. I think everyone needs to be mature and everyone needs to put West Indies cricket in a box by itself where we'll leave the politics out of that. We'll leave the politics and the games out of that and we'll just look to addressing issues to do with our cricket. That's my advice.
As an independent observer looking on Wafi, how would you respond to this?
I think politics and cricket should be involved together. It should be always be different, and there should be no politics in cricket, because whenever you bring politics in cricket, your cricket will be destroyed. We have seen in Zimbabwe, and I think that was during Robert Mugabe, maybe. I'm not quite sure about that, but yeah, as an independent viewer here, cricket and politics never goes together.
We see the same thing happen in Sri Lanka too.
The same thing happened in Sri Lanka too. And yes, Basil, there and Dwight in particular, I have been told, I don't know if it is someone's perception or not, but the person said that crowd that you saw at St. Vincent and the Grenadines is really both parties getting out their supporters.
well, you know something. There may be something to that because, not that it could be because I saw.
No, the person said to me, Mr. Brown, if you don't believe me, explain how West Indies 2-0 down and the biggest of all crowd was on the Thursday night. And the person said, explain that to me, Mr. Brown. What's your thought? Dwight?
I don't know. I honestly don't know.
It's far-fetched. It's very far-fetched.
It's far-fetched. But I don't know. I don't know whether or not on one side.
Right, because we don't know. We don't know because like in Guyana, the ruling party, their color is red. So if it was a situation like that in Guyana and it was supporters from one side or the other, we would have known who was the PVP supporters, the ruling party, because their people would have been in red.
No. But you wouldn't want to make it that obvious, would you?
Well, in Guyana, they don't care.
All right. The next thing I want to say, gentlemen, we saw in Pakistan, and Wafi is close to this. The Prime Minister of Pakistan is the president of the cricket board.
The custodian. He's the custodian.
He's the custodian. He appoints the chairman.
Correct.
Effectively, he's the president.
Yes.
You might use a pretty term, custodian, but effectively. So he appoints the chairman. Should we have a situation in the West Indies? I'm just putting it out there, where the General Secretary of CARICOM appoint the president of the cricket board?
No. I no. And I'm going to tell you this. It was interesting. ICC is a joke in this instance. Like, here why I'm saying this. ICC's mandate says no political governmental interference into the administration of the sport. All are what is in the same charter of FIFA. Now, if you remember, gentlemen, you remember when in Guyana, when the PPP government had Clive Lloyd as the chairman of what is called the Interim Management Council, or what it was called, IMC, they were doing an investigation into Guyana cricket. There was one faction of the PPP that wanted that, and there was another faction. Now, what ended up happening, the IMC supposedly became the in charge of running cricket in Guyana. So we had a situation for the upcoming first class season where you had a team picked by the IMC training and a team picked by the Guyana Port.
Oh, I remember that very well, Basil.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so what I'm saying, as a result of that, we got banned in Guyana from getting international cricket. Remember, for years, knowing that because of interference. But now let me juxtapose this to Pakistan, as you correctly said. The Prime Minister is a custodian and could fire and hire the chairman. Like even when Imran Khan was in place, Imran Khan, the then CEO, said they were reconstructing Pakistan cricket, and Imran Khan was of the firm opinion we have to have only 6 first-class teams. And the guy said he came and he made his presentation. Imran Khan listened carefully, and then Imran Khan finished and said, we're going with 6. So again, right there, the Prime Minister is involved. In Sri Lanka, the sports ministers fired the whole board. India, you had the courts come in and say BCCI is corrupt. We have to put a committee to run the cricket until BCCI clear up the situation. But Pakistan never gets suspended. Neither was India. Sri Lanka has had sanctions for that situation before. So that is a double standard in ICC, because that should not be allowed.
Thank you very much. Now, gentlemen, Wafi, what's next for Bangladeshi cricket?
The Bangladesh Premier League. So it's the franchisee league. We are very excited about it for T20 side, and after that, our team goes to play Champions Trophy. Unfortunately, you guys can't.
Thank you.
You're rubbing it in.
Yeah, Basil, your final comment?
No, I have one more thing to say. That is, you guys have been saying so much about Arnesville Stadium. You have been saying that we lost because Arnesville was the problem. Rutherford wasn't playing. Then who else? Shehab wasn't playing. Do you guys really think if even those players were playing, West Indies would have beaten Bangladesh?
We don't know. I'm not gonna say.
I'm saying yes. Basil, your final comment, please.
I would want to say first, I want to tell Wafi, I had the pleasure of meeting some of Bangladeshi's future stars many years ago. The captain, what's the wicketkeeper?
Mushfiqur Rahim.
I met him, and I met Mr. Tamim
Iqbal.
Yeah. Because when I was part of a support staff for the USA World Cup team on the 19 team in 2006, we played one of our matches, our warm-up matches against Bangladesh, and they hammered us into submission. We made 140 something, and that was my first time to see Mr. Tamin. Tamin made 100 in their reply, so you know what happened there. And so and I saw Tamin again in 2007. I'm sitting in Guyana there, and he's on the boundary, and I said, Tamin! And he looks up and he turns around and he's looking, and I said, USA. He said, oh my God, how are you doing? But I just want to say that West Indies, we have some problems. We have some serious structural problems that until we transform the entire landscape of West Indies cricket, not the piecemeal that we have been doing, we are going to continue to spin our wheels in the mud, and we will have the chateaus of the world bragging about a 30% winning percentage from 18 to 30%, right? That will continue to be the argument, because it was the same argument made when Phil Simmons came in and they did the whole review. Oh, we have improved X little percentage and so on, where our cricket foundation pathway continues to rot. That's my final comment.
Thank you. Dwight, you are the head coach of cricket. You are the president of Cricket West Indies. What you doing in 2025?
Oh, man, I think it's an absolutely exciting time to be in charge of the West Indies Cricket Board. But it's a time that we're at a crossroads. A big decision has to be made in terms of governance, and we need to get this over the line in terms of being able to implement the governance, or the recommendations in terms of the change of governance that's outlined in the weather report. That's absolutely critical for us going forward. But as well, we're seeing new opportunities coming up. This announcement about an extra 10 million US dollars per year coming by way of this sponsorship, this association that we have with Cage is huge. This situation in terms of elevating Darren Sammy to be the all format captain, I think is also going to be significant. He has done well in what he has been given before. And I say, give the man more, and let's see if he can take us over. So I think it's an absolutely exciting time to be a West Indian, and it's an absolutely exciting time to for West Indies cricket as well.
Thank you very much, Dwight Chateau. Joseph Crossdale is saying, what is the panel view? Well, sorry. By the way, we must admit that Bangladesh improved over time. Jaden Seal spotted their potential and added sledging to intimidate them. But they got past that and eventually flogged both Seals and Alzari.
That's true.
Clyde Sukuman say, yes, we would have beaten Bangladesh 2-1 if we have Rutherford, if we have Hope, and if we have Hussein to play in all 3 matches. Gerard Mead is saying, what that person told you, I am thinking the same thing. When I saw the crowd, that was my first impression. No St. Vincent well, and I am certain that politics played a significant role in the crowd size, said Gerard Mead. I look forward to see you next year. There won't be a show next week Sunday, that's being Christmas Sunday. I want to wish everyone that tune into the Takedown every week a really, really wonderful season. Much blessing, much love. Spend time with your family. Enjoy yourself, please, and enjoy each other company. Until the first Sunday in January, this is Carlton Brown on behalf of our panelists, Basil Butcher Jr., the White Chateau, the caller of the year in Jamaica, and Wafi from Bangladesh. And all those viewers and West Indies cricket then and now, welcome to the Takedown today. And we look to see you next year in the first Sunday of January. Take care, everyone. Be good. Have a good day.